Hari Om, Shri Ram, Ambadni. A very, very warm welcome to all the gorgeous super moms and compassionate, dedicated super dads watching me at this point of time. Today we are going to discuss what is most important aspect to develop, which is involved in developing children on spectrum. Or rather, I will say children with speech delay. Condition could be anything, any neurodivergent condition, any condition. The neurodivergent kids also, or the speech problems, they are faced by some of the neurotypical children also. So what is that aspect? I see a lot of people around us talk about autism. Parents talk, professionals talk. They talk about a lot about the symptoms, the characteristics, the presentations of autism. But I have not seen anybody talking a lot about developing spontaneous speech and two-way verbal communication in the child. One experience I'm going to share with you. One of my children was just involved 3 months back, 3 to 4 months back, but that I will share it later. So here I want to discuss about that important aspect कि मेरा बच्चा ऐसे गप्पे कब मारेगा. That means having a sustained conversation. When I say conversation, there is a listener, there is a speaker. A speaker and listener, they interchange their roles. A speaker becomes a listener, listener becomes a speaker. Again, it changes. And thus, the conversational aspect is carried out. When I say conversation, it is very important aspect of two-way verbal communication. Give and take. No one talks about it. No one thinks that development of expressive speech, development of answers to WH questions, then working on parts of speech, working on, you can say, I will always say assertive statements, repetitions, and so on. But when it comes to spontaneous speech, what is that? Hey buddy, how are you? I'm fine. This is called as spontaneous responses. And language or speech, when do you call it as it is in place? The speech is developed in mood. When the child starts showing this spontaneous response in conversational aspect. So how it should be developed, that too I keep on telling the rational principles behind developing these things. But here I want to ask one question to you today. I think this question, whether I keep on asking this in seminars and webinars, but I think for this particular video, I'm asking it. If there are two babies born at the same time, one baby is born blind and another baby is born deaf. A blind baby cannot see and a deaf baby cannot hear. So once they will start developing, they will start growing, which one of them will start talking like you and me? The answer to this question is very obvious. That the blind child will start talking like you and me. So this simple example tells us what? To develop good speech, language, and two-way verbal communication, the visual sense plays negligible role. The most important role is of the sense of listening, sense of hearing. When I say listening, it is hearing plus understanding that comes to listening. The sense of listening is utmost important. A child who is a good listener eventually become a good speaker. That is the rule of thumb. Always remember that. So this is what the first statement that I make. To develop very good speech, language, verbal communication, two-way verbal communication, sense of listening is very, very important. Now let us talk about the conventional therapies which are right now carried out in case of treating neurodivergent children. These are maybe OT, speech, behavioral therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, then ABA, and so on. See, I come across so many mothers internationally also, and I get to know that some countries have their own approaches. They develop over a night. Approaches are made, or theories are developed, or maybe therapies are developed. So okay, away, not that that's not very important. Important is now these all therapies. I club them all together and I put them under one roof, like in one basket, and I call them as conventional therapies. So all these therapists, I mean the experts, the school of thought, the experts, what they thought. We need to develop very good approach for children with neurodivergence. Our children who are neurodivergent, they are innately very good visual seekers. Do you agree? Yes, of course, we have to get agreed to this. They are innately very good visual seekers. Now, why they are so good visual seekers? The answer for this is very simple. When the child grows, till 8, 9 months, 10 months, the speech input that he gets, listening skills are developed. At around 10 months, some words start coming. At around 12 months, 1 year, 2 months, 3 months, the child starts talking in words. He starts expressing himself in words. He understands and when that speech is developed during the child's developmental stages, is properly the milestones occur. The child gains all those milestones at a time, particular time, given time, at an appropriate time. Then the child becomes a very good speaker, then the problems, they don't occur. But when there is a speech delay, say suppose the child is 1 year, 2 months, 3 months, or 1.5 years, and he is not developing the speech, the first thing that happens, there is a gap created between his understanding and expression. Because at around 1 years plus, or at around 1.5 years, child wants to get connected. Child has to get connected with the world verbally. That is the milestone. And when it gets missed, the predominant sense, that is the visual sense, that takes over. Automatically the child starts becoming a very compulsive visual seeker. Means what? The child tries to, you see that child is becoming hyperactive day by day. He tries to touch everything. We call it as destroy. The child is destroying things around us. He is doing a lot, you can say, visual stimming also. He is doing a lot touching, restlessness, and other things we observe. He doesn't listen well, okay? He doesn't follow commands well. This way it is presented. So it is a compulsive, it is because of the compulsive visual seeking that the child is developing. I always give an example to all of you. Suppose I am a Marathi lady from Maharashtra, and if I go to some native place in Tamil Nadu, say, and in that very remote place, I want to purchase vegetables. So what happens here? There is a communication gap created. Why? Because I don't understand that vendor's language, or this vendor is not understanding my language. So there is a gap in communication takes place, occurs. I am not able to express myself. Then exactly at that time what happens? my visual sense becomes predominant. Automatically, it takes the dominance. I start observing gestures of that person. I start observing his facial expressions, hand gestures, body language, and I try to communicate. Same thing is happening in our children. But because we are neurotypical, we are able to utilize that visual seeking in an appropriate way, or to get or to bridge the communication gap. Where these children who are neurodivergent, they lack in coping mechanism. That's why it doesn't happen so smoothly in them. So they are visual seekers. And then what? Our children are compulsive visual seekers. Now this school of thought, I just explained about all these conventional therapies. What these experts thought, the child is already a very good visual seeker. Let us derive approach in such a way that will utilize all his visual learning abilities, will foster it, and he will be a very good learner. What kind of learner? Visual learner he will be. And thus the entire approach was formed. All the therapies, I will say. None of the therapies is an exception to this. So you see, when I talk, now practically what you see, when we say that it's a visual learning based approach or visual seeking based approach, practically what you see? You see that unnatural clinical situation, a room, therapy room, lot of visually stimulating rooms are made. Then, lot of use of flashcards. These conventional therapists, they are obsessed with flashcards. So use for everything, they use flashcards. Then sorting, matching, sequencing, puzzle solving, and block building and all. So basic use of flashcard for everything. They are into that teaching modality. That able to teach the child, make him good visual learner. So these are the materials used by these therapists. As a result, what happens? You take therapy for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. The progress occurs to some extent. The child shows better eye contact. The child is repetition start or somewhat of other. On force, the child starts speaking, answering also. On that, it does that way. But the child develops in a very robotic way. Here, we must understand. When I say, now we have to combine that first statement that we need. In order to develop very good speech, language and two-way verbal communication, we have to stop this compulsive visual seeking in the child. What are you doing? You are developing visual learning in the child. How would that listening sense will take over? It's something like elder brother and younger brother. The elder brother is very dominant. He is taking initiative. He is working. Then the younger brother, how will he learn? How will he take over? How will he show its capabilities? The capabilities of the younger brother, that is the listening sense, gets masked completely by the elder brother. That's the visual sense. And as a result, we see that my child is developing to some extent and sometimes to no development we see. But they are developing in a very robotic way. There we need to overcome this barrier. So we need to develop very good listening skills in the child. But when it comes to developing listening skills, we are not very aware. We are not very, you can say, serious about the importance of listening in my neurodivergent child's life. So in my next video, we are going to continue about how listening sense is to be developed, how it is having a great impact on holistic development of the child, and how miraculously the approach, which is based on listening skills development, how miraculously this approach is bringing about changes in thousands of lives. Hari Om, Shri Ram, Ambadnya, Nathasam.